everyone, and welcome to episode 114 of This Week of Shrouded. I'm your host tonight, AGreeNer, and tonight we have a good boy and Mr. Wrecked with us.
Meow.
Meow.
I'm not doing it. We've got a great show for you tonight. We're going to be talking about the TWID that dropped today on the 26th of June, 2025. It outlines a bunch of more Edge of Fate stuff. Just a bunch of shit. We're going to talk about it. And how stupid exotics are moving into the Edge of Fate. And a bunch of other random nonsense that they put on here. So it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. I can't wait. We could also talk about the developer live stream that was on Tuesday. I guess I never asked if you watched it. I assume you guys did.
Yep.
Nope.
You say yeah or no?
No.
I did.
No?
Don't worry.
All
Don't
right.
turn missing much.
I saw I heard.
I'm actually let's jump right into that. I'm actually very kind of annoyed with how dismissive all the content creators were about the developer live stream. And how there was absolutely nothing interesting in it at all about the expansion. And I disagreed. Not that there was anything about the story or the actual expansion, but the quality of life stuff that they wanted to go over with us. And if this was the only thing that they gave us, I would have 100% agreed. And the only thing they had planned, I would have been like, oh, what's all the QOL stuff and no actual expansion information. And they have been marketing the QOL stuff like crazy. And I understand that. I get that. But this that developer live stream wasn't full of useless information. We learned about 3 new archetypes. Maybe we already knew about them. I didn't think we knew about them, but I thought they were interested. You know, the rocket pulse, the longbow or whatever you want to call it, the super bow, the war bow, whatever the shit it is, and then what was the other one? The shotgun handgun. Whatever it's called, the heavy handgun, the heavy,
and the crossbow.
And then we got the heavy crossbow. But we were talking about the regular archetypes, 3 regular archetypes, and then we got a legendary crossbow in the power slot. Now, so that's a new weapon type in 3 different archetypes. I thought was interesting information, really cool, really good. They showed off a little bit of one of the activities we're likely going to be playing in the Edge of Fate while they showed us that stuff. And it was whatever. It was just another Destiny activity. There was a quick blurb at the beginning that was like a short version of the vid docs that they used to drop. That kind of explained the villain, our Edge of Fate villain, and more stuff that we would be doing with the boring ass spark ball and the strand platform movements. That made it look a little bit more interesting. I think it's stupid that it can only be done in Kepler. But I'll die on that. Anyway, my point is, like, I spent 45 minutes watching something. There was interesting information to me. It wasn't completely useless. And I just felt like the internet was just like, everything but the heavy crossbow fucking sucked. Blah, blah, blah. It was just like, this wasn't that bad. And for last point that I want to make, I think the production value and having DMG in the driver's seat for this really increased my. It was much better and easier for me to watch than the last few things we watched for Bungie. From Bungie, including the marathon reveal. I thought those needed a lot of work. I don't know if it was a different director that kind of planned it out or what it was, but it actually looked like a production too. It wasn't super wanky or crappy. Oh, and we saw a lot of the shooting range, which was interesting as well. I knew we knew what it was, but to actually see it in motion And then they showed us the 3 new exotics as well. That's coming with the Edge of Fate. I do think that's dumb. Like when we get Forsaken and we get like 47 exotics, and then we get the Edge of Fate, we get 3 exotics. Like that shit is crazy, crazy low. But anyway, that's my thoughts. I thought it was pretty okay. Like I'm not gawking on it or anything, and think it was amazing or like absolutely incredible, but it wasn't bad.
I mean, it was all information we already knew. To your point
I didn't know about the archetypes. When did we learn about those 3 archetypes?
they've been talking about it in the streamer reveals. But
I didn't watch any of the streamer reveals.
Let me just throw out there that a lot of streamers that were part of the group that got to do the reveals definitely went to Twitter and was like, how come there was no new information, Bungo? And it seems kind of like, let me just bite the hand that feeds me, one, but also like, hey guys, I don't know how big your following is, but I suspect the vast majority of Destiny players don't watch any of you, but might turn into an official stream by Bungie to get their information. So it's not as if this was zero information for everyone. So I mean, that's where we go. I still am not a fan of these developer live streams. I still prefer the Vidoc format. These just don't have the hype factor for me like a polished Vidoc does, where they can edit the information being provided by the devs to make it hype you up more, right? So I wish we had more of that still, but I didn't think the live stream was bad. I watched the whole thing. I was working at the time, but I had it up on my other screen. I was watching it, and it seemed fine. Why'd they change the host? Is the other guy still with Bungie?
He's probably dead. They killed him.
Oh. No.
I'm not sure. I'm not even sure why DMG is doing it. Didn't he take a new role with the company?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sad about it. I like DMG, so.
And he was better, but I didn't think he was going to be Destiny facing anymore. Maybe that's happening after the Edge of Fate drops. I'm not sure.
It could be.
But also, maybe his new role got obliterated when Marathon fell on his face and died.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Dunk, what did you think about? Did you even see any information after the fact?
Not really. I did read the recap in today's TWID. I kind of went over a little bit of it, and I'm just like, this is all information we knew. I am in the same boat of there are going to be people who did not know this information, and it will be useful for them to now have this information. Personally, I'm not too upset that I missed it.
All right.
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't watch any of the content creators like full on videos or anything. I watched a little bit of Waffles, and the basic idea between Armor 3.0 and the weapon perk system. I found them going over it here more. I don't know. I absorbed it more, and I think that's probably because it's Bungie and not some random content creator. But I'm just not a content creator guy. There's a lot of people that love watching all that stuff, and I get it. They're right. So I'm guessing they went all over all the archetypes and all that stuff, all the new exotics, how it affects like them showing off how it affected all the abilities that they were to like. All that stuff was already gone over on someone else's videos.
Yep.
I wonder why they bother doing it.
You know, it's funny. I watched all of Aegis's 2-hour video talking about how the changes were likely to affect the Sandbox. He's not even a streamer that went. He got all his information secondhand. All right. I spent 2 hours watching his video, and I watched 5 minutes or 10 minutes here and there of every other creator that I watched any of the data of, any of their information, which is somewhat ironic, I think, because there's a lot of those guys I don't drive with. Their personalities don't drive with me. I watched more of Benny's stuff than anything else because he's chill and doesn't. I don't know. Some people, and this may be my own failing, but some people I listen to them talk or watch how they hold themselves, and I instantly think douchebag, and then I can't watch them anymore. I can't take anything they say seriously. So.
Oh, and I absolutely forgot. I should have made a way bigger hype about this at the beginning of the podcast, but like this is officially, mark the day, June 26, 2025, is the official first time in TWID history, TWAB history, that Shrouded Gaming was mentioned in the TWID. True story.
Here in a minute. Why are you skipping
Look
ahead?
closely.
We're talking about.
Sorry, I couldn't help it. I should have mentioned it at the beginning. I wanted to get to it right now.
What?
All right, we'll get to it after.
Egotistical fucking shitter.
We're not talking about pirate software. We're talking about Shrouded Gaming.
I know who we're talking about.
Sorry, fine. We'll get to it after. I also forgot to do the winners, so let's do that first real quick. Or before we continue talking about how much of a shit the live stream was. I'm so bad at this stuff. I don't know. I should just give up. Just quickly, before we continue, I'm supposed to announce this at the beginning of the podcast. We give away 2,300 silver and a SGC T-shirt every week here, beautifully on this awesome Destiny 2 podcast called This Week at Shrouded. Anyway, the winners this week, 2,300 silver, go to Devilito666. And I think that was the comment that our picker meant. I forget what it said. Do you remember? On brand?
A big surprise, yeah.
On brand.
Yeah.
On brand. Anyway, in the SGC...
Yep.
The SGC T-shirt goes to the one and only Wolfie. That's the whole name, by the way. They're not Wolfie. It's the one and only Wolfie. Okay. All right. Okay. Sorry for the interruption. I apologize. Let's continue on. Okay. So I think we've got it down. I don't watch content creators, so I missed some content. I was interested because I didn't know all this stuff. I knew some of this stuff. Well, I knew the generics of all of it, right? I knew the Kepler and the new abilities and all this stuff. I knew that the shooting range existed, but I didn't see any footage of it or how it worked or any of that. And it was all really nice to see. The new archetypes were cool. The new exotics and watching how they work was cool. Though I am a firm believer of Bungie has gotten incredibly lazy with exotics and how many they put into the game each expansion. Just keeps going down and down and down, and then at some point we were getting them every season, and then that went away, and it's just been. I get that their budget is getting smaller and smaller and smaller because less and less people are playing. It's just the way it is. But why the fuck aren't we playing Destiny 3? I'll never understand. But whatever, I guess. Edge of Fate, let's go. Renegades, let's go. Woo! All right. God. What else? There's nothing else in here. Just kidding. Okay. Big controversy right now on the internet. All our current exotics are basically going to be dog shit.
Well, I think we're jumping ahead. We probably start at the top of the armor section. And
Okay. We don't need to go in order. I'm just going over the things that were big news, you know? All right. Top of the armor section. What's at the top here? Talks about set bonuses, but we know about set bonuses.
Oh, they're giving us some examples of some set bonuses. That TechSec one actually looks pretty interesting. Dealing significantly increased damage, kinetic damage to overshields, combatant shields, and constructs. Sounds good.
Woo!
Emitting a disorienting shockwave when you break their shields also sounds pretty good to me, personally.
Oh, the 4-piece perk.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Yeah,
There's
the
some
other
cool
set
perks.
the other set they listed here is kind of bleh, whatever. I don't really care about
Yeah,
speed boosters.
yeah. Everything will come with some stuff. Some stuff will suck, but the what's cool about armor perks or armor set bonuses is when they make new armor, they have the world to choose from when it comes to set bonuses. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm excited. Because I'm excited for whenever we get new armor for Iron Banner, if we get new armor for Trials, we get new armor for Solstice, there's the potential to actually make it interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, that's what I'm excited about. I see some of these ones that are boring. Sure. Absolutely. They may work for a very generic focused build. Some of them are going to be more popular. Obviously, like that one. You're right. This one sounds cool. You know, significantly less damage to shields and then a disorienting kinetic shockwave. Sounds awesome. Sounds delightful. There may be even better ones. But yeah, like I said, the armor perks, the point that got me excited is it makes potential future stuff far more interesting than it has been for the last 7 years.
Yeah. All right. Armor archetypes. I think we talked about this 2 episodes ago. You know that
Yeah,
there's going to
just
be spiky
each
and
one.
set combinations.
Yeah, each one has their primary, each one has their secondary. It looks like we're getting 6 different versions. Paragon, Grenadier, Specialist, Brawler, Bulwark, Gunner. I don't really need to go through each of them, but Paragon is, yeah, okay, I'm going to do it anyway. Paragon, super primary, melee secondary, Grenader, grenade primary, super secondary, Specialist, class primary, weapon secondary, Brawler, melee primary, health secondary, Bulwark, health primary, class secondary, and Gunner, weapons primary, grenade secondary. So those are the 6 types of things you're going to get. You can kind of focus on what you want, and then once you get up to like tier 5 shit, you can do it even better. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
Well, you can take from one and give to another, or you can give to 3 others, and you just have more control over it at tier 5. And they all have their own. What would the last one be called? The third.
They've got a randomly rolled tertiary stat that will be, higher than the remaining stats. So,
yeah, that. So that's what we're looking at. We knew most of that. I don't know if we knew the names of them all yet, but
no, we
there
did.
they are.
It's been revealed.
All right. Well,
All right.
me.
So masterworking. We already have talked about this. It's going to be a progressive masterworking. It's going to give additional stats as you go up the masterworking tier, up to +5 for each of your 3 minor stats or whatever. So plus 15 points. They're giving us the gear tiers officially. This is stuff that was in all the reveals. So
I
know
do
what all
remember
of
all
that
this
is.
stuff. Yeah.
Man, I should have just followed your lead and gone straight to fucking exotic armor. I'm so dumb. But why don't we go to exotic armor?
Wait, you don't want to talk about the new gear bonuses?
I mean, yeah, I guess we can talk. Yeah, we probably should talk about the new gear bonuses. This is a hot
Skip
topic
the only
right
one
now.
that's relevant.
Yeah.
Well, it is a hot topic right now. People are losing their shit about having to grind every season because and then there was Reddit posts about, what if I get my god roll I don't know, at the end of the season or whatever it is, and it's awesome and it's amazing. And next season, it's 2 weeks later. It's no good anymore because it's not considered a new gear.
It's not even that. The point people were I think the point you're thinking of, the Twitter post you're thinking of, is
It might have been the tier 2 thing.
if you get a tier 2 weapon that has all the perks you wanted, right? It is your 5 out of 5 god roll.
Yeah.
A tier 5 just random weapon that's the same gun but a different roll that has all bad perks, it's still going to do 10% more damage, right? because that's how the artifact works. It's gonna you get a ramping bonus based off the tier of your weapon and your artifact level, right? So a tier 5 gun always does more gun base than a tier 1, 2, 3, 4 weapon, right? And so their point was, it really doesn't feel good that I get this god roll, but I pass it up to use this tier 5 weapon only at the end of the season to have that god roll actually be the god roll again, because the tier 5 weapon is now garbage because it's no longer getting the new gear bonus.
Yeah. Anyway, so point is, yeah, big problem. I'm just going to reference the thing in chat that said, because it's kind of relevant to what we're talking about. It says new gear bonus is only for the release of the new system after the coming season and won't be a thing anymore, question mark. That's not what we meant. But if you get a gun this season, a tier 5 god roll, it has the new season bonus, which is the bonus did go down to 10%, right? I think.
Yeah, it's 10%. It's 10% weapon damage, 15% DR on the armor.
Yeah. Okay. So 10% weapon damage, and then as soon as we roll over into the next season, it loses that 10% because it's not a new weapon anymore.
Remember that, but remember that's tier 5, right? It's a rolling bonus based off the tier of the weapon. The maximum bonus you can get is 10% on guns, 15% on armor. Your tier 1 armor does not have a 15%. It will have like a 3%.
Oh, okay,
It will be like 6%.
So if it's tier 5 is 10%, then you lose that 10%.
Yeah,
that's people's problem with I don't know. Bungie's trying to make it so you have to play the game more, and people are mad.
Yeah. I am of the opinion, and this is an unpopular opinion, at least with the mouthy crowd, that outside of doing low mans or speed runs,
10% is not going to make a difference.
Or potentially in contest mode, which this does not apply to, 10% damage is mostly irrelevant. If you're going to be able to clear an activity, 10% bonus is not going to be the difference maker. And 15% DR is not going to be the difference maker. If you weren't going to be able to clear the activity, those two bonuses also aren't going to be the difference maker. Sorry. That may be saying mad because bad, but that's because I am sane. But I really don't agree with this whole you're making all of my existing gear obsolete, which is a very common lament right now. You're making all of my other guns that aren't the new gear obsolete because they don't get the 10% bonus. That's fucking bullshit. Shut up. Your god roll 5 out of 5 weapons, still good. You're still going to use them. You're not going to use some shit rolled weapon, tier 5 weapon, just because it gets a 10% bonus if the perks aren't good and don't synergize with whatever build you're going for. Are some people going to do that? Sure. Are those people that are probably even worried about their builds? Probably fucking not. So I would not worry about it. It does matter for low mans. It does matter for the very hardest of content potentially, but this isn't even available in contest mode. So who cares?
It's not available in contest mode or Crucible, according to the TWID. So,
Dunk, thoughts?
Yeah. It'll be nice for that just side content you're doing while you're waiting for like contest mode and other things, but 10% extra damage, 15% extra resistance. You're gonna notice it a little bit, but it's not gonna be the end all be all for completing content throughout the game.
It might be a difference between one phasing a raid boss and not one phasing a raid boss, but I don't really have any sympathy for folks that are like, if we don't one phase, this is a failure. Like that mindset is, unless you're in for very particular like format you're trying to run, that doesn't matter to me. It's not even an argument that's worth making to me. It's not something I will hold any sympathy for. Just two phase. You'll be fine. Oh, there you go. I see you chat saying it matters to you. Well, then only use tier 5 gear, even if the stat splits are bad and the rolls are bad. And go to the Bungie forum to complain about not being able to make any builds because your build identity is strictly 10% bonus damage and 15% bonus DR.
You're such a fucking troll. Okay.
I mean, no offense. It's mostly in jest. But you know, I am not gonna get my underoos in a twist over 10% and 15%. It's just not gonna happen. It's not worth me getting angry about.
You'll still have a damage bonus on tier 3 as long as it's new gear.
Do I think it's a bad idea? Yeah, I don't think this is a good idea that Bungie's using. Do I see it straight through what their intent is? Yes. They want you to play the game more and play with the new. They want you to play with the new gear. Vis-a-vis, they want you to grind more. Yeah. All right. Fine. Is it gonna change how I interact with the game? Not one bit.
Nope. Not for me. Not for me, other than the fact that we'll be switching guns every new season, which we kind of do now anyway. It's almost not rare that we come across something new that's better than what we've been using. Not in every case, but in a lot of cases. Like, what am I using constantly now? We got Tenacious, which would be considered new. We've got the Void Rocket Sidearm, which we would consider new. The exotics that we're using might be on the current list. Who knows? Because it looks like they're just going to be picking out random exotics that are going to get the bonus.
I will have something to say about that here in a minute.
Okay. And I don't know. I can't think of the guns I've been using a lot this season. The Psycho Pomp or whatever it is. That's been fun. The Vespers Host, heavy grenade launcher, and a regular grenade launcher, whatever it's called. That stuff. We'd be using all that stuff anyway. That's all within the last 6 months. So
I use the guns I like to use. And that's it. I'm a good enough player that I can clear the content I want to clear using the guns I want to use, even if that's master raids or master dungeons or GMs or ultimatum stuff. Do I need to use, Legend of Acreus on the first boss of Ghost of the Deep? No. Can I still clear it without using whatever the meta is right at the moment? Absolutely.
You know what's cool? Matter. You could still use Legend of Acreus. It will just do 10% less damage. And you'll still clear. Isn't that cool?
It won't do 10% less damage. It'll do the same damage it's doing right now. Something else might do 10% more damage, but it doesn't matter because my build will still clear.
And okay. Yeah, it does the same. There you go. It's the same amount. Anyway, the point is you don't have to. Like 10% is not enough to not use the weapon you want to use.
Yeah,
but if you're a meta slave and one phase DPS whore, then yeah, I could see you being upset about this. But I don't particularly care because I don't do that stuff. I don't fucking one solo Ron. Like that's not what I'm doing here. That's not what I'm doing. I don't need that 10% damage. I'm good.
It'll matter to those guys who like to compare damage numbers at the end of the raid. But
I've never done that ever.
Me neither, and I don't care. If I'm on top, I don't say shit. If I'm not on top, I don't say shit. If somebody else is on top, I don't congratulate them for having top damage. Unless it's somebody who's had trouble with doing DPS and they've done more than normal, in which case I will give them an attaboy for doing better than they have in the past, especially if they've been complaining about not being able to keep up. I will give them some positive reinforcement for doing well. But, if I'm in an encounter with Bebo who already does top damage a lot, and he's like, look at that, look at my top damage. I'll just be like, shut the fuck up, nobody cares, and then we'll move on. I saw him in chat earlier. I don't know if he's still here.
The only time I say anything is when I'm number one. I tell everyone else they fucking suck.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. But I thought it would be funny. But nobody laughed. I didn't hear chat laugh once. Fuck off.
Ha ha ha.
You guys are terrible. I would do more damage than you.
1v1 me, bro.
I don't know. Damage. I didn't say Crucible. Fuck Crucible. Wait, you say you're bad at Crucible. Yeah, I'll 1v1 you.
Yeah, I'm terrible at Crucible.
You said the only reason you're good at it is because of teamwork. If it's 1v1, there is no teamwork. Let's go, baby.
I'm terrible at Crucible. Yeah.
Wait, you sound like you're being sarcastic, but you've said it 1,000 times that you're the only reason you're good is because of good comms.
I'm incredibly bad at Crucible.
Can you play in this tournament coming up for me? And we'll just pretend it's me?
Listen, I'm not good at Crucible, but I'm not bad at it either. I think if you were to put me on the bell curve of Bungie players, I would be on the higher end. I would be on the positive end of the curve, you know. But yeah, 1v1 me, bro. Let's see. Don't actually 1v1 me. I hate 1v.
Above 1 KD? Well, it depends on the day, to be honest. I finished 1 week this year above a 1.0 KD on trials. Every other one was like 0.8.
Anyway, can we go into exotic armor?
All right, everybody's losing their goddamn mind about this.
Make everybody mad because this is some bullshit.
That's not gonna make people mad. Everyone hates this so far. That basically all your exotic armor stats are gonna be like tier 2 level.
Well, so here's what's happening. All new exotic armor, anything you get after the new content, after Edge of Fate drops, will be locked to tier 2, which means a stat distribution, a total stat point between 58 and 63 total stats. There won't be anything higher than a 63. Furthermore, new exotic armor that drops is going to be locked into the archetype system, which means two big spikes, right? And then one smaller spike.
Yeah.
What this means is that the armor you have right now that's above 63 stat points is more valuable than any new armor you're going to be able to get in Edge of Fate. As long as the stat distribution is where you would like it. So, if you're going to do any preparation for Edge of Fate, I would start getting those Ingrams farmed up and start focusing the ones you specifically want to be able to use for the new content.
This is even a new exotics. That's crazy. That's got to be a balancing reason, right? It has to be.
Well, the way I read what they wrote here is that the system, whatever is going on with exotic armor under the hood in the code, they have not had enough time to finish the development to port exotic armor fully over into the new system. That is what I am led to believe. Like they don't have a way, or they haven't finished developing all the extra bonus shit that happens when you tier 4 or tier 5 your armor. And so they haven't built that out for the exotic armor yet. That's how I read what's going on.
There's no way that Bungie's a real developer. All right? No, that can't be it. You can't be that fucking incompetent. It's a couple stat points. Just add them. It's not that hard. No, I don't believe that shit. There ain't no way. There ain't no way Bungie's that fuck. There's 800 fucking people working there.
Listen,
Do something.
Just listen. The first paragraph. Long term, we hope to
Yeah, they're
eventually add
next
support
July.
for
That's a year from now.
For exotics to access the benefits of higher tiers using a dedicated system that reflects their nature as unique centerpieces in your build. Although this system won't be ready for the Year of Prophecy, we wanted to make sure that exotic armor could benefit from armor archetype and reworked masterworking system. That reads to me like, sorry, we didn't get the development done on exotic armor, but we're launching anyway. That's how that reads to me.
That okay? No, I don't know. You're not a okay.
How do you read
understand. That? No, you're right. I mean, it reads in two ways: the way you just said it, or they were planning on doing something more complicated for exotic armor, and they didn't have time to finish it. Yeah. So they also didn't have time to. Once they realized they didn't have time to finish it, they didn't have time to pour all the exotic armor over into the 3.0 system, which is stupid.
So let me also point out there that if it's tier 2, it maxes out to 63. That means you're missing like 12 stat points out of a perfect build, which could be the difference between, you know, hitting multiple hundreds or multiple 200s right out the gate. So good luck, folks. Good luck with the new armor builds. This right here, this section right here, big fucking L.
It's huge, L. It's stupid. What is Bungie doing? Like, I don't understand. Like, we have developers, like, small-ass developers putting out new games, like, every fucking 2 years that are, like, 100 hours long. Like, what? That are, like, 200 people working there. What are they doing? What's the 800 people at Bungie doing?
I don't know.
What is their job?
Fix a marathon.
The marathon was supposed to be a small team, which is why I never expected a ton from it. Yeah, it was supposed to be like, you know, less than 100 people is working on marathon. Like, that means there's 700 people working on Destiny. What are they fucking doing? I think it's got to be the other way around. It must be like, I don't.
Dunk, you're very quiet.
Yeah. So I was disappointed when I read this. I was like, oh, great. So all of my exotic armor potentially is going to be useless. Fantastic.
Only your new stuff. Only
the new stuff, yeah. Which means that any of the new exotics that are coming out are going to be just utter dog shit. And I'm like, great. Cool. What a great way to introduce new content. Make it unusable. Well, not unusable, just it's not desired for your build, right? Because you're not going to get the stats you want, which is just terrible. Like you build your character based off of your stats. You need those stats to have a better time in your end game content. And now I can't use any of the new exotics that are going to be coming out. Maybe just for fun. Just in like Patrol Zone, you can put them on, but anything else is just useless, which sucks.
Let me play Bungie's meat writing advocate for just a moment. Right now in the current environment, like people try to push for like double and triple 100 stats, right? But most of the time, the difference between that and just like running 70s across the board or whatever is pretty negligible. So, as much as I don't like that they're not bringing through armor and that it's clear to me that they haven't finished development on something prior to the content drop, in which it should have been ready to go. I don't think being shy 15 points is the end of the world in terms of build crafting or effectiveness. It is going to be hella annoying later when they've got the new system in. But then if they don't grandfather existing exotics up into that, having to regrind exotics again is going to kind of piss me off. What it will do for me is make me very hesitant to spend any resources focusing new exotics until I absolutely have to. Like, you're not going to be catching me focusing, trying to get a new roll of Syntheseps until I know I can get a tier 5 version. I'm not going to spend the time trying to do activities that give exotics that are at maximum difficulty if I know it's not going to be giving me maximum stat benefit, because there's no point to me grinding that activity. So that's the only problem I have. I don't think the 15-point difference is really gonna, or 12-point difference, whatever it is gonna make that huge of a difference in terms of build effectiveness, personally. But it's annoying. As somebody who is also on the I get neuron activation from having as many big numbers as possible, this is sadness, but again, it's not really going to matter in terms of me being able to get active. So,
I mean, yeah, it's not going to make a huge difference overall, but at the same time, like when you're trying to get to that perfect level where it's just like, this is exactly what I want. This is how I want to have myself built out. And you can't run this one exotic. That the perk is great. It's a lot of fun to use, but you can't use it because it's not got that one stat up to where you need it to be to make this build viable.
imagine you're in a
for you.
position, Dunk, where you've got your perfect build. You've got all the armor you want. You've got all the weapons you want. And your exotic, because of its stat distribution not being able to go above 63, that one stat you were trying to get 200, it's just stuck at like 199 or 198. That would be so fucking annoying.
It would be very
Inconsequential in
annoying.
effectiveness, but annoying as hell.
Yeah. Like it's not the end of the world, but it's just annoying just to see it be that 1 point shy of perfection. Like, why? Why could this not have been done in time? Like, I'm sure there's something else deeper going on that's preventing them from doing it, but
They
come on,
don't
it can't
know
have been
how to
that
develop
hard.
games. That's what's going on. I don't understand.
Yeah, it can't be that hard to make these changes unless they have some significant changes they plan on making for exotic armor.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. What's the developer that makes all the Yakuza games?
Isn't that
Any idea?
the publisher is Square,
Sega,
right?
But no, Sega. I'm pretty sure it's Sega. Not Square. But anyway, my point is, like, they're dropping one of those every fucking year. They're like 50, 60-hour RPGs. How can these people not figure out how to make an exotic armor drop with
Sega's
an
the
80 stat points? Sorry, what?
Sega is the developer.
They're the developer.
Yeah.
I thought they were the publisher.
There's some sub studios in there, but they're the developer as well.
Well, look at that. They're dropping that shit constantly. Oh, over again. There's other developers that are dropping games, brand new games. 1.5 year, 18 months. Fuck, even Dragon Age Veilguard was made in 18 months. Like, I know it's kind of a shit game, but overall it's huge. Like,
you hurt your point, but yes,
I did hurt my point, but it's a full on, like, I don't get how they can't figure out in a year how to develop a stat system for the exotics. Like, that makes no sense to me. You should be able to group 10 people into a fucking room and they come up with the coding for that in a week. I'm exaggerating, clearly, but like, it doesn't make sense that they can't turn a 68 into a 78 without revamping the whole fucking system. What is the spaghetti code that they're working with that they can't just add 10 points to it?
I don't know, man.
That's so absurd. It's ridiculous, is what it is.
All right. Let's move on to the one exotics that are coming through. And that's the exotic class items.
I don't understand.
So all the exotic class items are getting their double focus. It's going to be based strictly on the perks that they have. So your armor archetype and your spikes are going to be solely based off whatever perks your exotic class items have. And then the third
Cool.
stat will still be random as per usual. The only feels bad here is that because they're moving into the new system, anything that you've like put artifice on, that's just going away, and you're not getting refunded for it. Sorry. So
that's kind of a butt, but yeah, that's fine, I guess. It doesn't bother me too much, but how much? What does that cost? What? That's
Exotic
one of
cipher.
those Cipher, right?
Masterworking it, then exotic cipher.
Yeah, that's pretty. Ciphers are pretty significant, I think. That kind of sucks.
I mean, they used to be. They're kind of easy to get a hold of these days, but
subjective.
That's true.
How much you play the game.
If you play the game a lot, they're not.
They're easy. Yeah.
So feels bad that I'm losing my artifice slots on. I have a lot of fully masterworked and artifice unlocked exotic class items, but half of them I only unlock the artifice perk, the artifice slot, because I was full on ciphers and I was about to get another one. I didn't want to waste the resources, so I just threw it into one. So I guess it's whatever. Any other thoughts on this?
No. Bungie sucks. No, I like Bungie. I like Destiny. I just think sometimes that's ridiculous. I just don't get it.
All right. So, shall we talk about gear swapping?
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
All right.
10 seconds.
So
cooldown
there's a thing in here about Sanguine Alchemy. Switching to Sanguine Alchemy will put a 10-second delay before the perk can be activated.
Yeah.
I think most people that are doing swaps are doing swaps early enough that this is a non-issue. So I don't think this is the big news. I don't think this actually affects anybody. The main thing that I think is important to read here is that all right, so they talk about Guardians being able to leverage mid-combat strategies to swap exotics around to take advantage of different exotic perks during different parts of a boss encounter, right? But what they say is, while we fully applaud those throughout the community who want to push the needle as far it can go, we found that this presents balancing issues where it feels mandatory, and they don't feel like the main draw of an exotic should be centered around swap-centric strategies. So the TLDR is Bungie does not want the game to have to be balanced around people being able to swap exotics. All right. So the writing is then on the wall that they want swapping to go away.
Or at least nerf it so it's not as strong as what it is now.
Yeah. Right. So they're putting this 10-second cooldown before Sanguine Alchemy will activate. But in the next little paragraph, the above change is a minor first step that's targeting one exotic during their launch window, but they're taking a larger approach later this year. So what that means is that sometime this year, they're going to be taking some more serious steps to nerf hot swapping. And there's been a lot of people on Twitter today pretty irritated by Bungie, quote, nerfing creativity.
Yeah, I don't agree. I don't agree with them. I think it's really hard to balance a game this size with this many guns, this many exotic armors, this many abilities, that removing one of those things out of the pool is is not unreasonable. I don't think so. They don't want people to be able to, one man Ron, like, and if that requires exotic swapping, then that's how they're going to be able to remove it. Stuff like that, and
I
there's
don't think
more
they
things
really.
into the game.
I don't know if they actually care about people doing solos or low mans. I think they care about people trivializing content when you're doing it with an appropriately sized fire team. As a 6-man fire team going into a dungeon and doing a bunch of swapping will actually trivialize bosses.
Yeah, okay, well, that's
in
fair,
this game,
but
right?
sure.
So I
Yeah,
think
they're
that's
all doing
probably
it.
what they're actually aimed at.
Either way, my main point standard is it's much easier for them to balance their activities if this is not something that they have to worry about.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Dunk, thoughts?
Yeah, just like before, it's not that big of a change. This 10-second cooldown. Like, sure, for some people that like to do things at the very last second, maybe, but most people, they're switching out well before they're going into any sort of like damage phase or anything like that, so they're not going
I
to
think
see like too much against it.
I think overall this will start to affect us more once they get into whatever they're talking about that's happening. This is
Yeah.
just one example of what they're doing. They could potentially eventually just say, you know what? No.
I mean, this at least kind of telegraphs that they're not going to just put not swap on everything across the board, which I think would be terrible for the people that like to swap. If not swap
There's
was
a few things
everywhere,
that should. You're right. I earlier I made a really bad example about solo manning Ron. Like I think solo Bungie's okay with seeing stuff and content like that, and they want to be able to continue it. And part of the only ways to do it is to allow these little intricacies. So you just can't put not swap across the board because you would annihilate all those interesting content features and people doing this stuff. But there's certain things that just should not have it on. Like, well, obviously contest mode is a perfect example. We started getting not swap on that this year, which was fine.
Yeah.
Did anyone
Which,
actually
honestly,
complain
I was
about that?
perfectly fine with it.
oh yeah, lots of people complained about it.
Yeah,
Tons of
but
people complained about it.
see, that's what I'm talking about, though. They can't balance for that on contest mode and expect it to be feasible for normal players to even consider
Yeah, for sure.
completing. So it's much easier to just remove it in most cases where it doesn't feel where it belongs. Yeah, and if this helps, this just helps limit them actually dropping not swap on every activity, which they could essentially just drop it and then go, oh, now we don't have to worry about it. They're doing more work, which I don't think they can afford, considering they can't figure out how to code exotics. But they're going to do more work to make it so this feels more balanced rather than overpowered. Or just turn it off. Like, you can just turn it off. They're choosing not to do that. So complain all you want, 1%, but this is the better option than just adding not swap to everything.
Yeah, they could easily just decide, hey, you go into contest mode, cool. You get one loadout. Good luck.
Oh fuck! Could you imagine? Like, you imagine just getting locked loadouts across everything as well?
That would be brutal, especially in contest mode.
That'd be impossible.
There's going to be times where you do not want like a damage loadout, like during, just like your ad clear encounters. Like, you don't want a damage loadout there.
Yeah, that would never happen. It's just the not swap modifier would be. I can't. Yeah, they would never do that. They would just turn the not swap modifier on, and then
they would never do
exotics.
that. But it would be brutal.
Could you imagine? That'd be wild. They caught this about imagine like you're trying to figure out gear. You got to keep going back to orbit and starting from the beginning.
Like maybe contest mode, maybe contest mode like dungeon. I could see it being a thing, but like an actual raid, I would
No,
hope
no.
not.
If they were to
Well,
implement it in a raid, it would be implemented in such a way as that you would get locked out, started the encounter, right? Not
yeah. You couldn't
after the
couldn't have
encounter, it would unlock, and you'd be free to swap around until you got to the next encounter. I would assume.
I would hope so.
The not swap modifier is good enough. Like they're never gonna have to say, "Oh, you can't change your gear at all."
Yeah.
When you're in
worst
there.
case scenario,
Yeah,
they just put not swap on everything, even though that would suck for a lot of people.
Yeah, you imagine that on everything, just strikes, regular nightfalls, every activity, public events. Can't even. Well, you can switch, but it makes what is exactly it does? It kills all of your activity or your energy, right?
It takes all of your ability, and super
Melee,
energy
grenade,
into it.
and super.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that would kill you. I mean, it wouldn't be that bad. People would start planning it in a proper way, though. Like throw your grenade, dodge, shoot your super, switch your exotic, move. Then you're back where you're supposed to be. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, let's talk about featured exotics.
Okay. I think this
dumb.
is this is. I gotta agree with you. I think they should just turn all the exotics on, into this category because they're exotics. But I mean, it is what it is. They're gonna every season, which is crazy. So every 6 months, they're gonna switch around the exotics, the exotic armor, and the exotic weapons to be able to take advantage of the new gear bonus, the 10% and the 15%.
This is
Isn't that odd?
This is making things complex for no good reason. Like, I totally get the new gear bonus they're gonna do, even though I don't like it. I don't like that they're doing it, but it's not enough to matter for me. And again, the bonuses for this don't really matter either. But all your exotic armor's locked to tier 2. So you're gonna get what, a 6% DR?
Yeah, no one's gonna be using this shit anyway.
Your exotic weapons aren't tier 5, so you're gonna get like 3% extra damage. What's the fucking point of this? It doesn't make any sense.
Dumb. I think it's just dumb that they're picking random ones. Just put all the exotics on the list.
Apply it to the new exotics for all I care. That's fine.
Or that, like, just
apply
don't
it
add
to the
the
new
exotics.
It's fine. I don't
Or
care.
add it to all
it's
of
fine.
them. Pick one of the two. None. Well, the new ones or all of them. That should be the only two options. There shouldn't be the new ones and I don't know 40% of the old ones. Like it's a weird concept.
This strikes me as a developer who like should have been working on the new exotic armor masterworking system, but went off on a fucking side tangent and did some fucking Destiny Karen bullshit and came up with some overly complicated system that makes no fucking sense. Like, take the energy you put towards putting this list together and go finish exotic armor, please.
So goddamn dumb. I'll never understand this shit in a million years.
It makes no sense. And like I was reading through this list, and like especially like for Titans, there are 3 exotics on this entire list that I would ever use for Titans.
Let's just look at some of the really weird ones. Dunk, as a Titan main, is there any content in which you're just going to be like, yeah, I'm going to slap on Mark 44 stand-asides now?
Absolutely not. Like, there's nothing in PvE where I would ever use it. I would never use it in raid, never use it in dungeon. Maybe in patrol just to have fun, but even then, no, I would not use it. And PvP, God no. Like, there are so many better options in the current state of the game to use than MK44 stand-asides.
AGreeNer. Now that we know what's going to happen to Dragon Shadow not reloading your guns anymore, it's just giving you like handling bonuses and shit and maybe some extra dodge energy. Are you ever going to put on Dragon Shadow over some of your exotics that actually do things on a hunter ever?
I mean, I haven't put Dragon Shadow on in a long time, so I can't imagine why I'd put it on now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that. I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, if I look at the weapons list, why am I going to put on Devil's Ruin ever? Why am I going to put on Ariana's Vow ever? Yeah, these things are cool. They had their heyday. They can do stuff, but why am I going to use them now when they've been power crept by other weapons entirely, other exotics especially entirely? I don't understand. Anyway, we want to talk about nerfs because there's a whole lot of them in here.
You mean the ability balancing?
Yeah.
I mean, I figure they got to do a lot of ability balancing to go with the power drop on everyone. So, I mean, yeah, you can talk about them if you want, but these are not unexpected to me. Things are going to look different.
So none of the fragment slot changes are new. Like, we knew all these were coming, and we knew what these values were going to be, right?
Yeah.
Some things I don't think we knew. Did we know that Consecration was getting an extra fragment slot for Solar? Was that announced previously? I don't remember that being on the list previously.
I feel like it was.
Was it? All right.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. Something that's been going around, people have been talking about a lot, are the fucking. Where's the Devour change? Where's the Devour change? They reduced Devour's healing from 200 HP to 140 HP.
Okay.
So that's a full-on nerf. I don't know why it's happening. They said it feels excessive, but I don't know why it's feeling excessive now, considering it's been at this level since the rework subclasses came out.
It's probably just the DR is so much higher now. And then with everything going, they were probably just in their playtests, and they're like, "Oh man, Devour is really strong with all this new."
Okay, all right.
Damage resistance. I mean, that's all I can imagine is they come out of a playtest like Devour feels really strong now that we have extra DR and a 15% new bonus our armor bonus DR, and everybody's already at +10 resilience plus the extra bonus stuff that you get. And then you devour HP, blah, 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 blah. And then they nerf it. I can only just imagine that it was during Edge of Fate playtests that they were like, "Oof."
I see Phonic in chat saying, "Gut the only good aspect that Warlock has on Prismatic," but I think Devour is a staple on all Void Warlocks, period, and Prismatic Warlocks, so it's gutting them both, honestly. I don't think there's a better... I don't think I've ever played Void Warlock without having Devour turned on, ever.
No, I never. And I mean, even on Hunter, like Prismatic Hunter, like I don't know if this is going to reduce it because it does. Oh, it says all classes. Yeah, okay.
All classes.
I use it a lot on Prismatic. It's strong, but I have faith that whatever their new system is, Devour was OP, and this will be a tune. And if it's tuned too low, we'll find out really quickly. And I think the team has been pretty responsive over the last little while of fixing things that get overtuned in either direction, up or down. So I think we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, let's talk about this one. Maybe you'll have something stronger to say about this one.
Okay.
Stasis Shatter no longer stuns Unstoppables, but it goes to stunning Overloads. So now your slow and your Shatter can both stun Overloads, but it does not affect Unstoppables at all. So that Aisha's you have running around with, guess what? It's no longer dual champion anymore. Get fucked.
Considering I've never used Aisha's in PvE.
Not Aisha's, Tanasha's.
Yeah.
No longer does shit to Unboppables.
Well,
and I think that means that Unboppables are the only ones that don't have any... There's no double weapons that can affect them now. I'm pretty sure that's a thing, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. That's accurate. But whatever.
I think this is a much more significant change. Now they say in here the reason they're doing it is they don't want certain weapons auto-solving champion encounters. And they're also saying the overload champions are harder to deal with than unboppables.
I fucking hate overload champions. They're the worst in the game.
Okay. Dunk, what do you think? Are overloads worse than unboppables?
Uh, I've always never liked overloads just because they get that natural healing after a couple seconds of not being stunned anymore. And, early on it made it very annoying, very frustrating. But now it's not nearly as bad. Personally, I don't really see the difference between overloads and unstops now because usually you're able to just overpower them regardless.
So here's my problem. For me, they're basically neither one is more annoying than the other.
Solo content overloads are way more annoying than unstoppables.
I don't find either of them more annoying than the other. Depending on the activity I'm doing and where they appear, changes my opinion on this. So, in a GM where you maybe have multiple overloads around, I am super happy that Shatter can now stun overloads because I can get whole groups of them now, right? I don't have to just slow them and then move on to the next one. I can get them all with a single shatter if they're close enough together. But if I think about champions that have killed me instantly, I think the vast majority of me getting insta-gib by a champion have come from unstoppables versus barriers or overloads. I can't tell you the number of times that a champion has either been going into an unboppable is going into a stun or coming out of a stun, but still decided it was going to punch the ground and murk me in a GM. And there are no memorable instances of that happening with any other champions for me personally. Yeah, overloads are annoying because they teleport around and start to heal, but I don't find them particularly dangerous like unboppables that get close to you are.
I don't know. I'm just thinking doing like legendary lost sectors back in the days. The only ones that ever pissed me off. I couldn't get to them or whatever. They were behind a thing. There was 3 enemies in front of them. I'm running out of ammo. It's always the overloads. You stun them, you can't get to them. They heal. Blah blah blah. Unstoppable just come. You throw a shock grenade at them, you kill them. Easy.
Well, those are the only 2 changes I wanted to talk about. Are there any other changes that anybody else wanted to talk about in here?
I didn't read all this shit, to be honest.
I guess there is one more that probably should be talked about. On your mark. So on your mark used to be able to max out on your mark by dodging, right? Get all 3 stacks.
Right. Yep.
Or you'd get maximum before. Now that doesn't work anymore. You only get 1 stack. And you don't get the big bonus from on your mark, which is now turning into making you radiant until you get a kill or get a hit after you've maxed out. So they say on here they're trying to improving the gunslinger's kit. I'm not sure that this is
more access to radiant is what they're saying.
I mean, there is more access to Radiant, and maybe it's fine in PvE, but this is booty cheeks in PvP because you need to actually kill people.
Yeah, get your stacks, get your kill.
So you have to get 3 kills and then get a 4th kill in order to get your Radiant to proc. When there's like way easier ways to proc Radiant in PvP.
It's just the other dodge.
It feels
doesn't that flip dodge? Yeah.
Or
why would I use this when I could just use
any melee? Like you can throw an explosive knife, and as long as somebody gets tagged by the explosion, even if they're around a corner or whatever, you get radiant. So this feels like kind of a giga nerf for PvP for hunters, which is, I mean, Boohoo hunters. I happen to play a hunter mostly for PvP when I'm playing PvP, but
Yeah, but you also just mentioned 2 other simple, easy ways to get Radiant. So
it just
who
feels like
cares?
an unnecessary nerf for this particular ability for a
Mm.
subclass that already kind of sucks in PvP right now anyway.
They probably had some other stat that indicated it. Like typically, I'm okay. Or I don't know. I don't use it, so I don't have much of an opinion, I guess. I was about to say, typically, I am pretty confident that they have stats that make this make sense. But when they nerfed On the Hunt, I was just mad because I enjoyed using it. So I just realized that my opinion is irrelevant because I don't use it, and for that reason.
Yeah, well, listen, if they don't have the time to finish exotic armor, I don't necessarily trust that they had the time to look at the data. So, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
maybe those are my thoughts on the changes. Does anybody else have any thoughts on any of the changes?
I didn't look at much else, to be honest, other than there's some stuff that's fine. They're buffs. They're not all the buffs. Not all these stuff are bad. Some of them are buffs. So that's cool. Like the grenades are buffs, right? So
yeah. One thing that I will say, Storm's Keep for Titans, making it so that way multiple barricades no longer stack. I think it's important to just mention that, because that was and is a broken thing to have right now, because Voltron is just
I totally forgot about
strong.
that.
Yeah. I suspect, Dunk, that was an unintended interaction that they just didn't bother 100%. Fixing.
It was 100% unintended, and I am glad that they are fixing it, because it just.
But I want to do easy GMs for the rest of my life. Give it back.
Brother, Stronghold is still a thing.
Other options for you to.
I was being sarcastic.
Oh, I know. I mean, for the person that actually makes that argument, there are better options. Other options.
I do need to set up a stream where I do 9 GMs back to back to back to back to back.
Well, listen, you need one Stronghold Titan to just tank everything while everybody else kills everything, and you'll be fine. They just pop a barricade and block with their sword behind it. Everything shoots them. They're impossible to kill. The rest of you can do whatever it is you need to do. There is no GM you cannot do in 16 minutes or less using that strat.
All right. Well,
if Thunder's watching, he's throwing something at the monitor right now because he fucking hates that shit. Every time I bring it up, he's like, "Shut up."
All right. Yeah, let's move on. I want to wrap this up if we can. All
right.
We got the new rewards pass.
Let's talk about pay to win. Let's talk about pay to win, shall we?
All right. Go ahead. Pay to win. Let me hear it.
Okay, we've had bonuses. Seasonal bonuses on our rewards track that have given us a higher chance to get rewards, right?
Yeah.
Have we ever had a bonus that? Have we ever had anything that gave us a bonus, or gave us a better chance at getting better gear than we would have gotten otherwise? Because guess what we have in the reward track? We have an activity score boost that's going to give you 15% more points on all portal activities when you fully unlock it. That means you can perform 15% worse than you would have otherwise and still potentially get the higher level gear. If this shit is on the paid track specifically, you cannot argue that it is not pay to win. Especially since you can buy the entire track on day one now. You want to drop 100 bones to max out your all but the last few levels? You can do that now.
I'm just reading it. There's the weekly challenge boost, allows us to complete the various seasonal hub challenges faster. The XP boost, the activity score boost. I hope that's all on the paid track. Let's go, baby! Bungie with the big moves, making more money.
The season pass rewards have had some borderline pay to win shit in them for a while now, but this is blatantly play to win at this point. Pay to win at this point.
Devil is an ADHD response. Don't point it out. You're judging me.
Anyway, listen. If he wants to explode that lighter in his mouth, let him. It's fine.
Exactly. Yeah, the activity score boost, if the 15% is significant enough that it makes it easier to get level tier 5 weapons and shit from portal activities, then yeah, it's absolutely pay to win. But also, I don't really care that much about pay to win because I have money. So it's poor people that don't. It's poor.
Oh shit. Greener, when the gamer revolution happens, they're fucking coming for your head, man.
Yeah,
Greener's like fucking peasants, let them eat cake.
You know, if it were something super egregious, like here's this really cool gun, give us $10 for it, and it's better than any other gun in the Crucible, then yeah, I'm gonna have a problem with that. But if this just makes it a little bit easier to get higher scores in the activities and get better loot, it's kind of sucky. It's kind of like scummy, but it's not enough to get me all up in arms. No. I was gonna buy the shit anyway, so it's whatever.
I mean, you're gonna buy this shit anyways. You're gonna buy 100 levels on the season pass on day one?
No. But I'm gonna buy the season pass.
Greener's like, nah. That's for content. So I'm just gonna use community cleanse and buy my way to the tax write-off. What do you mean?
Yeah, no. Was that $100? $100 to get to level 100, probably.
Yeah. Yep.
No,
$1 level.
I would never spend that. I already give Bungie $100 a year, plus whatever these fucking event passes end up costing me. I don't need to give them any more money, and we also give away like a couple dozen Edge of Fates. Like I give Bungie enough money. I ain't gonna buy my season.
Do you have any thoughts on this, or are you in the fuck the poor people crowd as well?
You know, I wish I could say I was surprised.
It's exactly what you said.
I wish I could say I was surprised that Bungie is going this route, but I'm really not. The writing's been on the wall for the past 5 years.
Yeah, they need
like ever since they introduced the season pass, it was clear that they were going in this direction.
I mean, to be clear, they introduced the season pass back in Shadowkeep, so they haven't done it. It's been a long time.
Yeah. It's true. It's been a while since they've like revamped it in this big of a way, but it was kind of clear that they were going to start slowly trending in this direction. So
very slowly. It's been like 4 years.
Yep.
All right, Greener. Go ahead. Self-promote yourself. We're at that section. We're at the
fuck, are we done section. Completely?
No. We're at the
this
section of the TWID.
All right, calm down. No. This is just I thought this was interesting because well, yeah. All right. Anyway, Bungie Day is almost here. We're doing the 7th Chaos, the seventh column Chaos tournament. And look, our name is in the TWID chat. You can't see it, but it's there. I promise you.
I can see it. I'm looking at it right now. You're on Team Dust Bunnies.
Yeah. Let me get the other monitor up on the screen real quick. Look.
You're playing with clean plays and Jobo.
Yeah. Oh my god, I keep clicking the OBS to scroll. So, Bungie Day is almost here. As we talked about, from the 7th to the 29th, we'll be doing fundraising for that. Obviously, we're going to be getting some old emblems that we talked about last week. Obviously, I don't have the image up anymore because I'm a dumb McDum-dum. but it is what it is. I was looking for it to see if I had it anywhere. Surely I have it somewhere. Yeah. Here we go. Really quick. These emblems are coming back, except for the one in the middle. They've rolled that back. There was enough controversy on Twitter last week that they said they're gonna roll the heart control emblem back. So this one here in the middle, in the very middle, that looks like a controller, a heart controller, is being removed, and they're gonna put something else in its place. Just an FYI, they haven't announced which one it is yet. Yeah, so we'll be fundraising for this. We got a preview of one of the new emblems that they're going to be doing. Well, there's no name on it or anything. It's just this one right here, plus some more rewards, they said. But while this is taking place, the 7th Column Chaos PvP tournament will be taking place. And as you can see, we are right here in the Dust Bunnies. Interesting name. We're a robot. But anyway, this is officially the very first time that the SGC has ever officially been mentioned in the TWID. I know they didn't say our name, but they posted a picture with our name in the TWID. So we're in the TWID, chat. You hear that?
Made it greener.
Yeah.
We've made it.
Big leaks now.
Now the whole community made it. It's all of us. Let's go.
Now, when you stream this, I need you to be wearing a onesie. I don't care if it's the fox or the cow, but you gotta be wearing a onesie while you're playing in the tournament.
Why is that?
Because that's your thing.
All right. I hate that. That's my thing. All right. Should I have my penis out too?
I need to see you just pumping one of those udders on your cow onesie while you're in the middle of a tournament. That would be great. You'd never be invited back, but it would be awesome. Just make sure you move that book of yours out to where you can see the title on the camera in the background if anybody's got a sharp eye. Definitely don't grab the banana or the monkey, though. Don't do that. That would be a problem.
All right. Anyway, I doubt they'll be monitoring our stream. There's the way they've set it up is there's team captains for every team. Uh-huh. Clean plays is our captain. They're making all the practice arrangements. They're making all the match time arrangements and all that stuff. And they'll probably likely be the ones that. Because I haven't even been asked by anybody if I'm streaming or anything like that. So it's likely that they're going to just be watching Well, I don't think they're watching anything, to be honest, because we're also making our own schedules. So.
Okay.
I just don't think the streams are going to be official. I'll still do all that stuff if you really want me to. But the streams aren't going to be official. Just the results will be. And they'll probably stream the finals, is my guess. That happens on the 29th.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing you and your team in the finals.
Bro, listen, I don't want to be a party pooper or anything, but I looked up Hugs and Omelet. I'm pretty sure their KDs and trials are like 2.8.
Yeah.
And mine is like 0.8. I don't know what Clean's is. I don't even know, or I don't know if Jobo's is high or not. But listen, I mean, I'm fucked.
All I'm hearing is that you need to check on the regular about who's down in Crucible Hangout on the server and jumping in there and playing some sweaty private match scrims to practice. There are loads of people in there that would love to help you. Following Osiris, Noid, Fruity, tons of people that would love
I'm just
gonna help you get ready.
My first game is like next week. Like there ain't getting any. There ain't getting any ready.
Come on,
I'm done. It's over. I'm cooked.
There are multiple Ascendant players in there that would be willing to help put you through your paces to get ready to go. Devilito. Mojo Jojo is a traitor. We don't talk about him anymore.
Mojo Jojo jumps in my fire team fucks the matchmaking up, and then leaves. All right.
All right.
That's what happened. That's what happened to me the other day.
I think that's it because there's not even like a stock art cat on this one.
What?
What a shame.
Such
Good
garbage.
thing.
Summer sale. Yeah, we'll mention the summer sale. Steam on Steam, everything's on sale. It's like $20 for literally everything you can buy with Destiny, except for the dungeon keys. And same with Xbox. I don't know about PlayStation. No idea. Which wouldn't make any sense that it's on sale everywhere else but PlayStation. But let's check the PlayStation Store real quick for all you beautiful humans that are watching. See what it says. Destiny 2 90% off. It's even better. It is. Oh, that's the Legacy Collection. Scratch that. Hold on. Wait, which one's the Legacy Collection? Oh, the Light and Darkness. Okay, yeah, $20 on shit. I might buy that. I don't have the final shape on PlayStation. I find it annoying when I can't use my prismatic on my PlayStation. It's irritating. Anyway, yeah. So it's $20 on every platform. So it's on sale. If you don't have any of the expansions, it's the best way to get it, hands down. The Light and Darkness collection, $20. Boom, baby. If you got everything, but for some reason didn't get like the final shape, or just the annual pass for the final shape. I don't imagine why you'd want the annual pass with like 2 weeks left, but it's only $10. So go have some fun. Go do some dungeons. It's cheaper than 2 dungeon keys, and it comes with the dungeons, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, goodbye. I got nothing left. The art this week is... I actually don't find that very interesting at all. But all right, cool. Eris Toland action. Okay, neat. I'm just going to hit back on that. Anything? Anybody? Anyone? Yeah. Anything? One? Blah, blah, blah.
No.
Anyone want to say anything? No
I'm
dungeons.
good.
It does not have dungeon keys. The annual pass doesn't have the dungeon keys. Yes, it does. You're lying to me. Yeah. Okay. All right. He's not listening. Trying to give us information. Okay. Yeah. All right. The Light and Darkness does not. No. Yes, I do know that. It doesn't come with the annual pass, though. Okay. So, yeah, there's not much more to talk about. That's all the Destiny news that I have. That's it. I got nothing to plug. Come join the SGC. We're a big Destiny community. We're awesome. ShroudedGaming.com/Discord. Get you right in there. Get into one of our awesome 19 clans. We've got them all over the world. They're amazing. They're beautiful. And we're getting pumped up and ready to go for Edge of Fate. Even though I'm mad at Bungie sometimes, I love the community. I love Destiny and I love the community. And I'm going to force everyone to play until they die. So get in here if you need someone to LFG with. That's about it.
All right.
Yeah. Good.
Outro, please.
All righty. Thanks for watching episode 114 of This Week at Shrouded. I was your host, AGreeNer. To my left or right, I don't know what direction this is, we have the cat, Mr. Rect.
Meow.
And below me, we had the good boy, or a good boy, Dunk.
Meow.
This is wild. And yeah, that's I was your host, AGreeNer. I think I already said that. Meow. We're all
Goodbye.
Oh my god, this is terrible. I'll see you next week on This Week at Shrouded. Goodbye.
Meow.